BB, be quiet. I'm about to do a video. I don't want people knowing that you're here, do I? They'll know that you've been paying me. Shush. And put down Mrs. Macron's penis. That's it. Put it. No, don't put it there. Oh, you dirty bastard. Oh, fuck, I'm recording already. Damn it. How you doing? You amazing, beautiful, wonderful people. That's it. Today's video is brought to you by the wallet of Bibi Netanyahu. People are fucking mental. Absolutely mental.
Oh my god, Haftar's a sponsor, and now he's attacking Candace. Suspicious.
You fucking lunatics. Anyway, how are you all doing? You're looking absolutely amazing on this thirsty Thursday. I'm going to get straight into the meat and potatoes, as in this video here, we are going to be addressing what everybody's going to be addressing and already has addressed lightly, and that is that Candace Owens and TPUSA are going to be going head to head. That's it. They're going to be going head to motherfucking head, as TPUSA finally came out and addressed the claims that Candace Owens had been making against them. Lots of people have been wondering why they have remained silent. It's like I said yesterday, like Candace Owens calling out the FBI for not calling her back and people like this. And I said, and I quote, because they don't give a fuck. It's like me contacting someone and saying, look, I've been threatened. I get threatened every motherfucking day. Every time I do a video and criticise Candace, someone gets in the inbox and either calling me fat man or, do you know what I mean? It's bewildering. Just attack. But anyway, let's look into it. First of all, we'll head over to the video that Turning Point USA did. Old Neffy boy. This dude looks like an extra from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but let's get into it, because ultimately, I don't think this is going to end well for either of them. If I'm brutally honest, I don't see how either of them can really win, but I'm sure you guys will tell me how anybody's going to win this. I genuinely don't, because after this video, we're going to look at the 10, I'd say, bombshell comments, and there's a lot, but we're going to look at 10 of them specifically that I think that they're going to be looking to address during this live. Now, Candace Owens, after they said, look, she did really the only thing she could do, and that is to say, I'll do it tomorrow. Because you couldn't really do anything else. You couldn't really say no. You couldn't really say, yeah, just let me know. Just let me know when and I'll be there. I think when you're on the attack and then someone does a rebuttal to it and calls you out, you've got to be quick to say, no, I'm good. Let's go. I'm ready. Fucking ready to rock and roll, Sonny Jim. Which furthermore feeds into, let me just say this, what I've been saying, that is that unless she's got all the info, like loads of people turn around and say, well, this is an ongoing investigation. She'll be given tips. She's got to go through them. She's got to work and get all the information and all the details. And these things take time. And that's why this draws out. Well, not being funny, but if she's then called out by TPUSA and she's saying, I'll come tomorrow then. Let's crack on and get it done. Then that would say that she's confident that she's got everything that she needs to prove the accusations that she's made. Now, I don't know how Turning Point USA feel that this was a good idea, because ultimately, if they're saying that all these claims are slanderous, for instance, then why not just file a fucking lawsuit against her? Why not do that? She's gone onto social media and made these accusations. Surely that comes under slanderous accusations, but who knows? I don't know how all that works. I don't know how it all works, because one thing I will say is if people are willing to listen to people doing like, let's just put this into context, right? So Candace Owens attacks Macron's wife, says she's got a penis, which that's going to court, and there's going to be a massive lawsuit over that. Well, this is about Candace Owens is going to have to prove what she's saying. It's not down to the Macrons to prove that she's wrong. It's for Candace Owens to prove that she's right. And the accusations that she's made against Macron's wife is indeed accurate. Now, I don't understand why, if you've got that information and this is going to go to court and there's a potential lawsuit that can ruin you, and you've got the platform that you've got, bearing in mind that recently she just come out and said, look, there's a fucking death threat made against me and what have you. Why wouldn't you just come out and say, this is why I believe that there's a death threat? Here's a picture of Emmanuel Macron's wife with nuts and 2 bolts. Do you know what I mean? Nuts and 2 bolts. Fuck, that would be a mess, wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean? Meat and 2 veg. Do you know what I mean? No, that works, doesn't it? Nuts and 2 nuts, 1 bolt. I digress. But you get my point. Why not just come out and say, look, there's the fucking evidence, mate. There's the evidence, have it. Because if you are somebody who's willing to absolutely crucify someone, bully them, online bully them, with absolutely no evidence whatsoever, no proof, I fucking hope you don't ever end up on a jury, because it would seem that you're the kind of person that would convict someone based on just whether you like them or not, or whether you like the person who's making the accusation. It's enough for me that I like the person making the accusation for me to attack this individual or condemn this individual. If you're that kind of person, then get the fuck off my channel. We like to think that we will point the finger and question things where there is evidence that would suggest that there is wrongdoing. Like lots of people criticised me for questioning the surviving roommates, for instance, in the Idaho 4 case. But lo and behold, we find out that they were on their phones. It took them 8 hours to call 911. They literally saw one of the victims laying on the floor, fucked. Do you know what I mean? So that's my evidence and what gives me the right to say, hold on a second, something ain't fucking right there. And equally, with respect to Brian Kohberger, I can question the validity of the claims he'd done the crime because I've not been shown any evidence to suggest that he did it beyond a reasonable doubt. And I thought it was innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And that's not what happened in that case. And it's the same with the Candace Owens situation. And Macron, does Mrs. Macron have a penis or not? Was she born male? Whatever. Show the fucking evidence you've got. Show it. Show it. If you've got it, why not just show the evidence? This is the evidence. Get it all done. Rip the Band-Aid off. But that's seemingly not how Candace works. And this isn't about criticising Candace, because at the end of the day, there's some things that she says that I feel are accurate. And I don't equally trust TPUSA either. We've just seen Wolves and Finance come out and talk about the financials of Turning Point USA. Now, Neff comes out and says that they're straight as a motherfucking arrow down to the last dollar, and Charlie Kirk signed off everything. Like how he got that in there. Yeah, Charlie Kirk signed off everything, mate. So it's almost like a side. Oh, so he's complicit then. But anyway, let's just get into the video, and then we'll look at these 10 bombshell statements that I think and other people think that may be addressed in this, shall we? So let's go over to here and let's listen to, and we'll stop and touch on the bits and pieces that he says as he says them.
We wanted to use this segment at the top of this hour to say something important, something very important. For the past...
So important that he needs to have a script written out. I don't script any videos, I don't have a script. I know what I'm going to say, and no scripts, no nothing. Now, I do specifically time my videos because I'm Illuminati, but, again, mental. But yeah, I don't script anything. He script. Maybe he was worrying he was going to miss something out in a 7-minute long video.
2.5 months, there is a topic that has flooded our freedom inbox. It has been nonstop on social media, but which we have almost totally avoided on this show. You probably already know what I'm talking about, which shows just how...
That chair. I bet you can't guess what it is. Yeah, Candace Owens.
Ubiquitous it has been. Ever since Charlie's murder, Candace Owens has leveled a flood of allegations against people at Turning Point USA, people at Turning Point Action, and people who work for this show.
I think that's safe to say that he is being absolutely on point accurate there. Yes, she absolutely has.
He's made them against some of Charlie's closest friends and against some of his most dedicated employees. She has suggested that Michael McCoy, Charlie's chief of staff, knew Charlie would be murdered, was happy.
Just as a quick one, sorry to stop this again, but someone had said that she had backpedaled. I haven't watched her last live. I haven't listened to it. But someone said she had backpedaled over claiming that she hadn't said something. She had said something. I don't know. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about. With respect of an accusation that she made, she's already started to backpedal. I'm not saying she has. I'm saying that I'm pretty sure someone told me that she had kind of backpedaled somewhere in her most recent live. So that'd be interesting to know what that was about. I will watch her live. I usually use this. This is a Tick Note, which is an AI recorder. But yeah, let me just let's carry on. I digress and all that. Where's my fucking mouse cursor gone? There it is.
He died and stayed silent because he was told he would be the next Charlie. She has suggested Michael is not his real name. It is. I have seen his birth certificate myself. She has called it suspicious that Mikey's wife, who works at Turning Point, helped plan the campus tour event where Charlie was murdered, which she didn't, by the way. She doesn't work on campus events. Candace has suggested the Utah Valley University event was unusual and its details suggested a, quote, inside job.
So with respect to this, and before I just touch on this point, see, even at the top it says the Charlie Kirk show addresses Candace Owens' slanderous lies about Charlie Kirk's assassination. So you think to yourself, if there's slanderous lies, if there's no truth in there at all, then why just not take legal action against her? Why does it have to be this kind of circus show where we're now going to see these two come together and do a live show together? That to me is fucking bizarre. Let me know what you think. Again, they're literally saying at the top slanderous lies about Charlie Kirk's assassination, and I just even this saying that slanderous lies, like some of the things that she said, how would they know? What are they absolutely convinced that Tyler Robinson was the lone gunman who shot Charlie and killed him? It's a bizarre one. It's really bizarre that you are not questioning the narrative that kind of it seems strange. It seems odd, doesn't it? And they've not once sort of questioned whether this lone gunman situation is authentic and real. Who knows? But with respect of the Utah Valley University, the you've got to think he drove to an area, and Turek apparently, and we've said this multiple times, that he'd raised concerns and said this don't fucking sit right. There's something that don't feel right. These buildings, what have you. And Charlie Kirk says, no, I trust the security, they're on it, which they clearly fucking weren't on it. So you can appreciate and understand where somebody would come along and say, it just felt fucking off. Because it did feel off. He's sitting there in an open space where they know that he's had death threats against his life. It's a sniper's haven. Frank Turek calls it out and says, I'm not comfortable with this. But Charlie Kirk trusts his security team, but yet the security team don't do their job, which is to keep him alive. They don't put drones up, which they can put drones up. They absolutely could. And if they're going to turn around and say, well, we asked to put drones up and the college said no, then they should have gone inside. Because that place needed drones. It needed somebody in the air. Or at the very least, it needed people patrolling the roofs. But there seems to be an issue with that, where they thought that there was people patrolling, there weren't, and that's not fucking good enough. So, yes, I understand why people like Candace Owens and even myself and many others will question that it did seem like an inside job, because there was security that should have been doing a job and they didn't. Make that make sense. Anyway, next point.
She has claimed that foreign aircraft have followed Erica Kirk around the country and that Turning Point has lied about this happening. He has accused us of lying about Charlie wanting Erica to take over for him if he died.
So just touching on these 2 points. So with respect of the planes, Candace Owens was given information on flight data of these planes, and it was cross-referenced with locations that Erica Kirk would be. Now, you don't. What I will say is, you don't know whether these times that Erica Kirk is at these places, whether she is alone. You don't know whether she's with her mum. Now, with her mum's potential involvement in some military contracts and potentially Project Nemesis as well, who the fuck knows? You don't know whether they were following Erica's mum, and it just happened that on these occasions, Erica Kirk was with somebody else. Who knows? But flight logs, unless they were fabricated, they would be the things making the suggestions, not the individual. Does that make sense? And with respect of Charlie Kirk and people saying, oh, you're lying about Charlie Kirk wanting Erica to take over, well, that's because that went against the very fundamentals of what Charlie Kirk would say. He would go out on multiple campuses and other podcasts such as Whatever, which we've touched on before, and basically say that a woman's place is at home raising children. They shouldn't be in the pursuit of CEO positions. So she then immediately after his death, very, very immediately after his death, jumps into that very role that seemed to go completely against what Charlie stood for. So are we saying that Charlie Kirk and what he said was bollocks? Because that's how that would then seem. But again, I'm just pointing that out.
She has suggested Charlie's security team intentionally denied him first aid after the shooting to ensure that he died.
And that is shown on video. There is literally a clip, a video, which I'm sure if you've been following the case, you've seen, where they come over with a bag to support, and they're like, "Nah, we've got it." So do you know what I mean? It's not that this is a false claim. This is something that can be seen in video. This is so again. I'm always fucking addressing that. I do not know.
She has raised suspicions about the head of our technical team because he took an SD card out of a camera. She has spread absurd.
That, by the way, I 100% agree with. Why would you take the card out of it? That is literally it. The second Charlie Kirk is executed, that becomes a crime scene. And they shouldn't fucking touch a thing. Shouldn't touch a thing. That should be left in situ as is done. So to pull a SD card out there is fucking questionable. Absolutely questionable. Because as soon as you remove that SD card, that gives you the ability to doctor the information that's stored upon it. That's as simple as that. So that is, you're right to question that. Absolutely right to question it. Now, originally, Candace Owens did say that the person who removed that card, she knew them and trusted them. She'd known them for a while. And then later on, she claims that she'd seen the footage and there wasn't really anything on it. But then that kind of spiraled into something else. But that's by and by. The point being, it shouldn't have been touched. Nothing in there should have been touched. But not only was it touched and everything fucking moved around, it was then built over.
Claims that Tyler Boyer, who we just had on the show, sexually abuses male interns. She has suggested that TPUSA faith-affiliated pastors, like theologian Frank Turek, who we'll have on in a moment, and Pastor Rob McCoy, are part of a military, quote, infiltration of Turning Point, either because they are veterans or because they have family members who are. Even if not everyone has been named specifically, though, Candace has effectively tarred everyone here with complicity in Charlie's death by repeatedly saying he was, quote, betrayed by, quote, everyone.
Which, again, that is a valid statement. That is basically what she said. So now the sin of spin would say that she could spin that. She could spin that, and it will be. This is what I mean by this. This isn't going to end well. This isn't going to end well because some things they just can't be unequivocally proven either way. You're going to say something, and what is the rebuttal going to be? Now, Turning Point USA are going to be in a position where the people who don't trust them, Candace Owens is going to be in a position where the people who will just listen to her blindly, she could come out tomorrow and say, I got it all fucking wrong. It was the writers of The Simpsons who were wanting me dead because I'd criticised a Simpsons episode, and people would be like, oh, fucking hell, that's mental. We're not going to watch The Simpsons anymore. Oh, do you know what I mean? That's how fucking mental some of these people are. So they will just follow her blindly regardless. So I don't really see where this is going to end really well for either camp, really. There can't, in my opinion, be a conclusion from it. Can there? Let me know whether I'm wrong. I just don't see it. But again, I'll be proven wrong.
Said Charlie's murder, quote, had to be approved by Charlie's friends, and then suggested those friends might have her murdered too for, quote, knowing the truth. She has made claims of financial impropriety and fraud at Turning Point, adding up into the millions of dollars, which...
And in Candace's defense, I doubt that it's Candace herself who looked into that. There has been other financial specialists who have themselves looked at documentation that is available publicly that would seem to suggest things aren't 100% straight. We recently, again, looked at Wolves and Finance and touched on what he had found or claimed to have found. Now, they're obviously going to deny this, or there'll be some exit out of that. Now, some people did point out, with respect of the parking lot address, that there could be, for instance, a mailbox, a P.O. box kind of style situation where the company uses a P.O. box as an address, and that's why that all goes back. I don't know the intricacies of that, and when you're talking about millions, I know probably smaller companies likely do that, but do businesses who are dealing with millions and millions of dollars, do they not have a website? Do they not have an absolute physical address and a physical presence for their IRS forms? You probably know more about that than me. From what I can see, it does look like there should be more of a solid address than just a car park and a potential fucking mailbox. But again, I could be wrong.
Is not true. Charlie made sure the organization was audited by a third party every year. He personally reviewed and he signed off on every expense report, and literally every single bill paid by the organization down to a single United States dollar.
So that's straight away, like I said earlier, that is Charlie Kirk, basically finance, not our bag. CEO Charlie Kirk, which some people have turned around and said that they are CEOs of businesses and the buck does stop with the CEO, which ultimately, yes, it does. But we don't know what was going on. We can only listen to those who seem to have gone into the financials of Turning Point USA and found things that look a little bit odd. Money being, for instance, money being paid to publishers, when rarely the publisher normally sends an advance to the person who's doing the writing. So that in itself is a bit of an odd one. Why would an organisation pay a publisher when normality would see that being the other way around? It's that in itself, if true, would have to be something that you should surely want to question.
We have never missed a 990 deadline. Candace has made other stranger allegations involving French paratroopers in maroon shirts, Egyptian Air Force planes flying out of Provo, Utah, and potential underground assassins traveling through unseen tunnels. At one point...
Tunnels. Fucking hate tunnels. Why is it in every case, at some point, there's a conspiracy surrounding tunnels? It's like the go-to. Tunnels, check. Dave Bautista, check. Idaho 4, when you know, you know.
November, she started wildly throwing suspicion on members of Utah Valley's soccer team for wearing hoodies. I could go on. There is always something new coming up, and none of it ever pans out, because from the start, there has been nothing there. The attacks and allegations from Candace are either lies or they are innuendos thrown around with a total reckless disregard for the truth.
And again, you have to, at this point in time, he is not wrong. He is not wrong, because there hasn't been any proof or evidence that would prove guilt or prove the accusation beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but again, this is why I said yesterday, you have to be very careful. And what sort of person are you? Are you someone who will condemn somebody or something, such as an organisation, just based on the fact that you like the individual who's saying what they're saying? So you blindly walk along with them and allow them to throw shit, and you throw shit with it without being shown that you should be throwing shit. How's that for an analogy? Shit slingers.
Candace can manipulate and string along an audience of people who don't realize they are being played. Instead of being able to grieve properly after one of the most heinous murders in American history, a murder many of us had to witness, my friends have had to endure harassment from people who have gotten whipped up by what Candace is saying. In fact, I would say we have suffered more harassment from these people than we have from Antifa supporters who overtly celebrate Charlie's murder. And just like a lot of those Antifa members, many of these people take this delight in how gross and unpleasant they can be.
And I have to agree with that statement. It has no impact on whether Candace Owens is right or whether they're right or whether wrong, but it's just the behaviour of the people who support Candace Owens. Absolutely fucking grotesque. Again, I'm just a lowly fucking YouTuber, not you just run of the mill. And some of the shit that people were saying to me because I dared to question Candace Owens was fucking ridiculous. Again, I said at the beginning, which I had to make a joke about. But, you know, I am involved in Illuminati. I'm, you know, a Freemason. I've got paid off 7,000 shekels by Bibi Netanyahu. All this fucking, do you know what I mean? Jesus Mahoney, mate. And that's when you then get to the name calling and you're jealous, you're this, that, and the other. And you just can't, just because you dare to say, hold on a second, I've not been shown any actual proof and evidence of what you're saying, and things have changed all the way along, and you're kind of drawing it out, and I have no right to question that. Apparently, I have no right to question that whatsoever. That is controlled opposition, and that is the very fucking thing that we try to fight against, and do fight against. People who are in a position of power where they can say what they want to say without question and control the narrative. And that is what Candace Owens is becoming. She is becoming someone who can say what she wants to say, do what she wants to do without repercussions, because she's got such a fucking army around her that just enables her to do it. And I'm not saying that she's wrong. I'm not saying that the things that she says are wrong. I'm just saying that I don't know if they're right. But for some people, it doesn't matter whether she's right, because she said it. That's it. It's done. That's a done deal. How dare you question it? And if you do question it, you are called things. This is like when you hear about Charlie Kirk, when he tries to question things, getting called an anti-Semite. It's no fucking different. It's no different. You dare push back on the agenda and you get hammered for it. You get hammered. So it's fucking ironic that you've got dickheads around this case who are claiming to be here because they want to know what happened to Charlie, and Candace Owens is somehow going to save you all and get you the answers that you want, and yet you're doing the very thing that he was dead set against. And that is, if someone's got a different opinion than you, then you shut them down. You criticise them, you threaten them, and you're disgusting towards them. You should be fucking ashamed of yourself. I do have the right to question people. I do have the right to question Candace Owens. If I haven't seen undeniable proof of a claim that she has made, then I'm going to question it until I don't question it, because she's proven it to me. What has she proven beyond a reasonable doubt? She said a lot of stuff, but what's been proven? And again, this doesn't come from a place of support on these folk, because again, like I said earlier, if she's saying slanderous lies, then sue her. Don't do a live stream and get her on your fucking channel. Again, this just seems like a money-making, which Candace Owens, funnily enough, just raised the money question again. I won't take no money. You keep the money, and we'll take donations on stream. And so again, you're talking about the fucking money, yet you've got people who turn around and say, "Oh, it's not about the money. It's about something else." Well, it's always about the money. Even with this, it's about money. Because if it weren't about money, then just sue her. Or unless she's absolutely telling the truth and you can't sue her, you've had enough time to cover all your dot your I's and cross your T's, so now it's safe to do this live. Or worst case scenario is Candace Owens has some fucking accident on the way to their fucking studio or on the way out. Well, who knows? Do you know what I mean? We're in that world where anything can fucking happen. So I don't trust any of them. That's my point. I don't trust any. I trust when I've seen undeniable proof. I'm that kind of person. I need to see undeniable proof before I absolutely go balls deep into the trust of something that's being said. And if you don't like that, then I can't help you. That's just the way it is. Let's carry on.
Our friends have had to endure is not funny, and it's not insignificant. It is evil. I have seen it. For months, we have received hundreds, thousands, I suspect, emails and calls asking us to respond. People have wanted us to invite Candace on the show. But for a long time, our approach was to say nothing. We did that for several reasons. First, we thought that her prevarications were so absurd that nobody would believe them. We shouldn't have to answer questions about secret tunnels or Egyptian Air Force planes. That sort of thing is just, it's beneath contempt to respond to.
Which you could argue they are, again, accurate. And this isn't, again, supporting TPUSA. But the flip side of that coin is they don't owe Candace Owens anything. They don't owe her anything at all. And why wouldn't she just get on the phone? If she knew these people, she worked with these people, why wouldn't you just pick up the phone and have a conversation with them? Why would you not just you've been given information, then just go to them and say, look, I was Charlie Kirk's friend, out of respect. I don't want to fuck his business up. What Erica Kirk, his wife, has now took over. That's something what he built. So I don't want to do anything public that could damage that, damage the reputation of it. But I'm coming to you to have a discussion about this, and this. That's the way a true fucking friend of Charlie Kirk would have done it. Would have gone to them and respected the business that Charlie Kirk built. But it seems that Candace went online and it was about destruction. She literally claimed she wanted to go to war with TPUSA. Why? For what fucking reason? Pick up the phone and have a conversation. She consistently, when she is accused of things, what does Candace Owens do? What did she do very recently? And look, we don't need to listen to any more of that. And this video's getting a bit long. In fact, the bombshell statements I'll separate and I'll put it in another video. But with respect of Candace Owens, she is often accused of doing things, not doing things, lying about things, whatever. And her go-to is come to me. Come to me, pick up the phone and ask me. You can ask me these things. So surely what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You can't sit there on your live stream and accuse people of not acting right and proper and saying you should just come to me if you've got an issue, while you yourself go onto a platform, your platform with millions of views, and annihilate somebody. Unless you have absolute fucking proof that what you're saying is accurate. And if she does, then there you go, she does. But let me know down below what you think. Is this going to end well or not? Love you all. Mwah.